Yo, what's up? Welcome to this first episode of Afro Cast. It's my new podcast launching 2022. I hope you all will be interested and, tune in, subscribe, do all the things. Yeah. And so today I'm with a lovely, most underrated, the enigmatic, the Veronica Mmari. Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So yeah, Veronica, welcome to my first episode for the Afro Cast. Feel free, we're out here, loosen up. Yeah. So basically today, we don't really have to think over this much because we're just trying to do like touching base and like introduce ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll let them get to know you first before I get in.
Cool. Oh, so this is where I introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Veronica. I don't know how to describe myself. Filmmaker, musician, artist. I call it fam. See what I did there?
Filmmaker, artist,
art and music. Yes.
Oh my God.
Fam. Yeah. So I'm a Nairobi gal. I wasn't born here. Mm-hmm. Born in States actually.
Right.
Connecticut or Connecticut, as the Americans say.
How do you pronounce that? Wait, hold up.
As a Kenyan, I say Connecticut.
Say it again.
In the Kenyan voice or like?
Just say it.
Connecticut.
What? Connecticut. It doesn't work, man.
But you know what I'm saying, and I feel like as long as you know what I'm saying.
How long were you in Connecticut?
Just for like a year.
And then?
Then my parents decided to move us back to Kenya.
I
was a baby and I was like, I don't
want to stay here. Come on.
JK. Okay. Yeah. Did school here. Went to States again. Michigan this time for college.
Okay. How long were you in college?
4 years for undergrad and then 10 months for master's.
Great. So we're out here with Veronica Mmari. She's got a degree, she's got a master's, and she's from the US. Like, she was over there, guys. What did you study, by the way?
For my undergrad, I did film, which I guess makes sense because I'm doing that now.
Days.
Yeah.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
How did you convince your parents to do that?
Well, you see, I feel like it was a step up from me not wanting to go to college at all. So they were like, film works.
Why? Like,
I didn't want to go to college, yeah. I think
that makes sense. If you're gonna get out of going to college, you might as well go and do something that you wouldn't do if you're going to college. Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like in the African context, not many people go into entertainment fields to study. We go into administrative or health. You know the.
Yeah.
So for you to actually do film, to leave Africa and go and do film elsewhere is like wow,
I think also like so my dad went to school in States as well, which is why I was born there. Okay. And I feel like for him, he always had like the American dream. Yeah. And although we moved back, I think he wanted that for me. Like he would get more excited about it than I did.
Like you going to America to study. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I guess with that background, it makes sense why he was okay with, you doing the film.
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. And the master's was in?
Communications. Yeah.
Those are like two different fields, but I'm sure there's like the place where they meet somewhere.
I guess it's like, how they say like sales is everywhere. I guess communications is the same thing.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
No, communication is something I feel like is very underrated, in life in general, communication. I'm speaking also from like experience personally because I know part of my life has suffered for just the lack of communication. So I hear you when you say communication is as important as marketing or some something like that. Not to get into the nitty-gritty, but like I feel like communication would save a lot of people relations. If we just took the time to be more expressive with each other and not procrastinating on important communications, it would go a long way. And I feel like as Africans we suffer from communicating. Not that we don't want to, but we don't practice how to. And so you find that you finish school, you're in your job, But because you didn't learn to communicate in a certain way, you're just going to be taking orders. You never learn how to pitch ideas. You're not free, you know, because communication. So, yeah.
I think that's so true. And I kind of like noticed that as well, like when I went to school there, like in the West, is young people, like from a really young age, like I feel like people learn that what they have to say is important. Granted, like it depends on the family you've come from, so it's not like a blanket statement.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I remember, like, okay, there's this hair store I used to go to, and there's this kid. He was 12.
Yeah.
And he was like cashier, and he'd be like, "Welcome. Is there anything I can help you find in here?" Like you feel like you're talking to an adult. Yeah. It was so weird, but
I've met those kids, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, yo, dude, chill out.
Yeah.
Born and all the just calm it ass down.
But he wasn't even arrogant. I feel like sometimes there is an element of being pretentious, but he was just that solid. Wow. In like, I've done this enough times, I know what I'm doing, and I want to help you. You know what I mean?
I'm sure.
And I feel like part of communication is, I feel like there's an aspect of self-mastery first. Okay, definitely. Not necessarily mastery, but maybe awareness. And I think that's something I'm like learning right now as well.
Definitely.
Like sometimes you communicate and you feel like I said what I wanted to say, and then you realize like someone else took it badly.
Yeah.
So like, there's like the aspect of self-awareness, and then there's understanding how people receive it best.
Yes.
Because like some people, and we're kind of like joking about this before, like how it's so easy to be straightforward.
Yeah.
Like it just saves you energy and time by just saying, you know what I mean?
Considering where we are.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are straightforward around here.
Yeah.
Like, environment-wise, people would rather beat around the bush than to tell you how they really feel.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you about communication. You know. Yeah. Not to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that was like pretty much what I wanted to say.
Yeah. So like, we weren't really gonna go on about communication, but I just felt like when you said that it's important, this is marketing.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like I could have expounded more and just tell you more what I think about communication. And so when you talk about how people don't really have the will, or it's something in them that allows them to communicate, is it confidence? What would you say it is? Why don't people communicate? Like we could bring this into a relationship context, you know?
Maybe I'm just basing this off of my life, but I think sometimes we're kind of taught that it's selfish to speak up.
Right.
And you'll even notice that, okay, like I notice it most, like looking at Kenya, it's a generation right before us. And you'll notice this especially when you go into spaces where authority matters a lot.
Yeah.
It's like what you're saying can be so valid and maybe even helpful for them to improve in what they're doing, but they're so offended that you spoke up in the first place.
Right.
So they almost kind of like want to punish you for it, you know.
So it's also it's not like we're going against culture by speaking.
Yeah.
But then you could understand that our culture is a bit outdated. If you know.
Yeah.
If you do strike some nerves when you say how you really feel, or when you call a spade, and that's actually something we should be worried about as people. Like, we'd rather be around people who are communicating freely than people who just hold up their feelings, because there's no growth in that. You know, you want to interact with someone on their best capacity, or you know.
But do you feel like you should, so there you can how do I say this? Do you think everyone should communicate what they're thinking and feeling?
There's different ways we communicate how we're feeling and thinking. Not just speaking, but like you, even in your personal space, there's things that you love to do. And that's how you communicate with the world, you know. If you love to draw, you better draw and put your stuff out. Don't be scared to put it out. You're not communicating the art that you know, you're blessed with. If you have business ideas, you should communicate. I'll give you a really good example. When I was in Malawi in 2018, I had a chance to pitch a business idea to a CEO of TNM. It's like a Safaricom version of in our country. So basically, I called this guy. He gave a He was launching something in the country. So I was at the conference. I took his number. Then a week later, I called him. I'm like, hey, man, I've got actually a business idea. I'd like to just bounce off you. Like, do you have time? Maybe I send you an email. So I sent him the email. He's like, oh, okay, dude, this is actually pretty cool. Why don't you come over to my office and we sit down? So yeah, I ditched class. I went to the not interview, but like the pitch and the meeting. You know, it was nice. I actually have a recording of it. I should probably upload that. Oh. It was nice. Very lovely office. Like TNM is the shit in Malawi. So like it was like the top floor. I couldn't even believe I was in this office. I'm like, this is the CEO.
Wait, how did you meet him again?
He came to our this place where I was at, and he was doing a conference. Yeah. Launching one of the products, the many products that communications companies have. And so I took his number, I took his business card. First of all, I was asking him if I could buy shares in TNM and if he thinks they're going to go up. He didn't want to disclose because it would be like insider trading, but he did say we could talk. So I took that up and I actually called him and to tell him I have a business idea that I think the company could use and roll out to improve whatever. So I went over, I pitched my business idea. He loved it, but he was like, okay, this is not for Malawi per se. But he was more impressed at the fact that I was able to communicate. Yeah. To call him and say, dude, I have a business idea. Can I come? And we actually spent like 1 hour, 30 minutes in his office just talking back and forth. He was telling me what he thinks, and then I told him what I think. So he did mention, one thing that struck me the most is that there's not enough entrepreneurial spirit in Malawi. You know, people don't go out with their ideas. People don't want to pitch. People don't do any, like, we're just waiting for life. You know, as a kid, you grow up, oh, one day I'm going to be, it's like we're still waiting for that to come from somewhere, but we don't realize we really have to go out and communicate to the world what we want. So yeah, I felt when he said not many entrepreneurs are doing, or not many people are entrepreneurs, it actually, I felt very nice, you know? Because I'm like, wow, I came all the way here from where I was to pitch this to you, and you actually noticed that there's not much of this spirit going around. So it was a big motivation to me, you know.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Have you read a book called Mindset?
By?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I don't think I have, but you can tell me about it.
Basically, to boil it down, there's two types of mindset: fixed and there's a growth mindset. Okay. So fixed is now like what that's CEO was saying, where people they're not entrepreneurs because maybe they think that certain type of people start businesses, or like almost like there's you're born. How you're born is who you're destined to be.
You know what I think?
What?
I could add to that.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're in school studying anything, you have to be an entrepreneur in that field. It doesn't matter what field it is, you can start a business. Yeah. No matter what we're studying, there's no way you can't start a business from psychology. There's no way you can't start a business from geothermal studies. There's businesses everywhere. Yeah. You don't really have to wait for the business administrators. Yeah. Business administrators don't start hospitals. It's doctors who know what a fucking hospital is. So I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah. And okay, so I guess my question to you is, because like what you're doing is not something common. Like I can't even imagine myself like pitching like that, leave alone like walking up to someone, like maybe now, but like before for sure no.
Right.
What do you think made you think differently in a space where it's easier to wait, and if the opportunity comes, great. If it doesn't come, then someone's like, that's my life.
Man. Wow. I think I just as a human, first of all, I'm always just looking for opportunities or observing problems in society. So based off that, I always have ideas. And meeting this man who's like he's Dutch. His name is Tim Buitla. It's a very hard name, but basically he's like a geek, you know. He's so geeky. Like if you see his appearance, you wouldn't think he's a CEO because he dressed quite shabby. He doesn't take care of his looks, but you'll just hear ideas coming out of him. Before TikTok was TikTok, he was telling us TikTok is gonna go off, and nobody believed him. Wow. You know, he's that deep. He was like, yo, guys, just wait. Just TikTok next year, everybody. We're like, nah, what is TikTok? So just growing up, even myself, I know I've always loved talking about ideas. I always have like, oh, this would be a nice idea. This would da 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 da. And so, yeah, I think it just came from that. And I had watched a lot of Shark Tank the year before I pitched that idea. And it just connected to me. It was like, yo, this is an alignment, you know, I better pitch this idea. And I'm always pitching, so it didn't really matter who was around. I was going to pitch something either way.
And
yeah, I don't really know what motivates me or what motivated me. It's interesting. I'll have to do a little retrospection to actually, you know, but like I get what you're trying to ask, you know.
But you know what I've realized, like, and it's scary, but I think sometimes life is as simple as choice.
Yes.
Like, you literally just choose to do something. Like,
definitely.
There's no
you know what Richard Branson did?
What did he do?
Before he actually became all this billionaire stuff, he went to a park somewhere in London, like what do you call those parks? Like a park.
Yeah.
And he went at night. It was like 7 p.m. And he just slept on a bench. And his intention was, by the time I wake up from this bench, I'm a different person. I'm gonna go for all the dreams I've ever had. You know, I don't want to be comfortable. He left his house to go and wake up from somewhere else because he didn't like. Obviously, he was trying to break a cycle.
Okay.
He obviously wanted something bigger for himself, but he felt I should go and sleep on a park bench and wake up with a different mindset. So it's those kind of things you just like.
Yeah.
Why would you even think that? You know.
Like, you really have to push yourself out of familiarity. Like that idea of being comfortable, and I think we were kind of talking about it earlier, is like when you have like a vision for something, you're like, your soul is fed by being around people with that same like energy.
Yes, you do gravitate towards it.
Yeah, and when you're around people who don't care for that, it's very draining.
It's draining. Yeah. And what I'll tell you about Africa is we're not people who are tolerant to ideas like that, because we're coming from colonialism. We're still understanding work and labor, and we haven't even industrialized. You know, so there's a mindset we have to get over it. I read somewhere that the average poor countries at least 50 years behind the most developed, you know, in terms of development, and I also assume mindset, you know. So it's things like those you just look at like, okay, should you adapt to your environment because everybody is like that, or would you just rather stay in your own frequency and hope you don't die from whatever
that process? And I'm thinking,
because it is lonely, I won't lie to you. And the thing is, like, when you have masses of people who are resistant, the only thing that changes their minds is you doing the thing, nothing else. It doesn't matter if you have facts, it doesn't matter if you have science, it doesn't matter if you have data. Because the only thing that's going to convince them is when they see it. Yeah, that sucks.
Only thing. And I think that's how, like, okay, like with my parents too, like I've flat out said like plenty times, like, I'm starting a business, right? And like in conversations they'll be like, so when you get a full-time job you'll see, and I'm just like, you ain't getting it.
Still up with the buttons.
But I just at this point I don't fight it. I'm like, I respect that's how you see the world. I don't say this to them, obviously. In my mind I'm like, I respect that's how you see the world. I know what I'm trying to do though, right? And the only way I can give you peace with what I'm doing is just do the thing, make it work.
I honestly, that's where I'm at too, because growing up we need our parents to do what we want to do, and when you can't convince them it's good enough, you really have to decide either you adapt to their, or you actually go and seek it out for yourself. And so Will Smith says it's crazy and lonely and dangerous and problematic and everything you wouldn't imagine going for your dreams, because it's a lonely ass path. Okay. But the thing is, it's what you said, you have to believe in yourself so much that it's crazy. All right? Yeah. It's very crazy what we're doing. Imagine being Jesus.
Oh, it almost looks careless, actually.
Imagine being Jesus in that year. One.
Yeah.
I don't even know which year he existed because time is based off his.
Like, yeah, I know. You can't say BC because he is Christ.
He is Christ. Like so when do you say, like, okay, during Christ's time?
During C?
DC, during Christ. In the year of our Lord Christ. There we go. DC, everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
So, like, basically, imagine being Jesus.
Yeah.
You ain't got nobody telling you. You ain't got no mentor. There's no mentor. First of all.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling you you're the chosen one. You're just born. You're like just a kid. You're just a human being. Nobody's coming to your house and saying you're the king of the world. None of that.
As a kid, you mean?
As a kid or growing up, nobody came to tell him you're the chosen one.
I mean, when he grew up, he did know. You know, like that time when like he got baptized and a dove came, and then from the heavens, God was like, "This is my son."
That's from the movie, right?
No, that's from the Bible.
From the Bible too. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to say, he was his own kind of entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Starting whatever he had to do. You know.
Yeah.
There was no one telling him this is what you're gonna. He did everything by his own accord. So we have to accept the loneliness
which
in doing
hard.
What you want to do.
This is my question for you.
Yeah.
What makes life worth living? And I would ask myself, like, okay, you know, like how you can have a Pinterest board and you're like, these are things I want, but then you ask yourself, and then what?
And then
so
what?
it's
right.
and yeah, and like
Vanity.
Sometimes when you see, like, I don't know, sometimes I like see people like going on trips and I'm like, I want that, and then I'm like, okay, then what? Like, life can't just be about enjoying it, right?
No.
Like, there's an aspect of purpose.
The purpose. I think there's that thing we saw in that Chinese calendar. It said something about life is about finding your purpose.
Yeah.
And something about life means to gift. Something about gift and purpose.
Yeah.
Like you find your purpose first.
Yeah.
And then you gift that purpose to others.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like that was their way of saying, okay, in this life you just find something you love and you can be very spiritually connected to with your whole being, you know? Like what we're doing here to me feels like, okay, I don't have to even be pushed into doing this.
Yeah.
I'll do it because I love it. Nobody told me get up and go and mix. Nobody tells you get up and go and open Fruity Loops and make beats.
Yeah.
Like from day one, the thing that called me back to that software was just something internal. It wasn't really external.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of internal motivation going on.
You know what's scary though? Okay, so like like no shade to anyone. I don't know if it is shade. Is it shade?
Hey.
Regardless.
You've already said it. Now it's shade.
Okay, but like, okay, if you look, maybe it's just also something to do with my algorithms, so I'll put it out there. I am somewhat shallow.
Yeah.
But like, you know those YouTube influencer videos that are like how to like live like a certain kind of way, trip to Bali, blah blah blah.
Yeah, right.
And when you compare that with someone like Van Gogh, because I think he had mental illness, if I'm not wrong. When he died, he didn't even know he became successful after he died. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Even Jesus, you know? Let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Was Jesus Christ a Christian? Right?
He was Christ himself.
So he didn't know what people were going to do with his history or with his career after he was gone, you know?
Yes and no.
Yes,
because the Bible does prophesy. Like, we know how the world ends. Like, certain things are prophesied and guaranteed.
Yeah.
And him being God, I think he had the full knowledge of what's to come. But I don't think that changed the experience.
I really, like, this is a very personal opinion, but I lean so much on the fact that he didn't know that he was the guy. You know,
it was
I don't know, something. Yes, the prophecies, they were all there. But do you know the gap between the Old Testament and the New Testament?
So leave that alone. looking at Genesis, Jesus was in the book of Genesis, right? Yeah, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and Jesus is the Word, right?
Exactly.
So he had the full revelation. He just had certain limitations of being human, like hunger, sadness, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of knowledge and revelation, I think he had it all. And like even how he would say, like when people would question what he's doing, he'd be like, I'm only doing what I see my Father doing. So he could see God fully. Okay, let me not say fully, I don't know.
No, he was vibrating in the frequency. He was God. That's why he knew his purpose. Yeah. I don't feel like he came to earth knowing. He was that one, what do you call it? It's like almost a world wonder, We've had several. But Jesus is like the ultimate.
But what about the time he was a kid and he was at the temple and his parents forgot him, and then 2 days later they were like, where's the Son of God?
How do you forget someone for 2 days?
Because those journeys were long. Like think about it, you all enter a bus in modern day. You enter a bus, you don't know who's in the bus, who's not in the bus. And then you're like, Jesus, where's my handkerchief? Jesus.
He's not there.
He's not here. Anyway, so my point is, when they came back for him,
so it was a prophecy.
Not even that. When I'm talking about how he had the revelation, because when the mom came back and she's panicked and she's frustrated and she's like, we have been looking for you, and he goes, don't you know I've been about my Father's business?
Yeah.
So
to me that means something else.
What do you mean?
It's the awareness I think he grew into, Jesus speaks a lot in, is it metaphor or what do you call those, parables and all the sorts. So him, I feel like he connected much earlier to the universe than most people do, So he realized the all is one and the one is all, and that's what he started calling my Father. That's just my personal observation of the story of Jesus. I really don't lean on the fact that he knew he was the one. He did not know. I lean on that so much because you can't be told you are the one, It's not like the Matrix where they're looking for the one. You were just born. The stars allowed those who knew the signs of the stars, and they came and met him and da-da-da-da-da. But from the rest of his life, it was all just autopilot. And so I feel like he found God in a way that most people don't find God, He became, it's very much connected with other religions like Buddhism and, meditation and ascension, because those guys actually are after a higher state of living, like raising your vibration. And so I feel like Jesus was able to do that at a very young age, and he could connect. All those parables means he's a different kind of person. He tells stories in different ways. So him telling his mom, don't you know XYZ, it's because he was already, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Just my perspective, of how I think Jesus was.
I see what you're saying.
And communication. That man knows how to communicate.
He does. Yeah.
It's what you call definite purpose. People with a definite purpose can't shift their mind, and he seems like an ultra, not even alpha, like an ultra. I say he's one, like a world wonder, because you don't have many people who come and change the world like that. You do have a few. We can mention at least 5, both of us, who've come and have tapped into their inner selves so much that the outside world has to listen or has to say, wow, Buddha. You have, maybe, I don't want to use Hitler, but you're channeling a certain part of your internal energy to be that big, It's from the same place, whether good or bad. It's from the same place, Yeah.
It's a lot to ponder,
So, like, not to dwell too much on this sensitive topic, because I know I'm gonna get several comments and feedback on this, but we're more than welcome. Please leave it in the comment section. I'd like to hear what you think of the story of Jesus, what you think on communication, and what you think about going for dreams. we're just trying to set the mood for this podcast, which is just going to be talking about things like these, you know. Touching subjects, career, how to really be good at something in the way that you don't look stupid for telling your parents I want to do XYZ and it's not really working out. So thank you so much for being here today, Veronica.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Likewise. If you guys want to know more about Veronica Mmari, I'll link the description. I'll put some details in the description about her social media, her music. She's a really amazing singer. You guys, you have no idea.
Thank you.
Oh my God. What? Yeah, so I'm going to enjoy doing podcasts, obviously. You guys have a great day. Veronica?
Like I say, a small outro.
Take it away, basically.
You guys subscribe, continue listening. I know a lot of great stuff are gonna come out of this conversation, just based on knowing Kaxi as a person. Like, it's good stuff, I promise, guys. So looking forward to hearing your thoughts and looking forward to this space becoming more connected. Like he said, we also would love to hear what you think. And
awesome. So follow Veronica, follow Kaxi on the beat, follow this podcast, the Afro Cast.
Yes.
Shazam, let's do it.